Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little Q&A session with you, answering some of your questions I put out on Instagram the other day, and lots of you have been in touch, so I picked a few to answer whilst I cook my dinner. Which actually, thinking about it, whilst I just sliced into this onion, that might be a really stupid thing to do because you're probably going to have me in tears in a minute. It's nothing you said, I promise. Oh, is peeling an onion not just like the worst job? I don't know about you, but sometimes you get a really good onion that like peels nicely, or one that just takes like a million years to peel all the skin off. You know what, I might go as far as to say it is actually the worst cooking job. But anyway, I am making a cheesy beef fajita orzo type thing. Absolutely obsessed with orzo at the moment. I love it. It's so versatile. You can make so many different things with it, and it's just so good. And it's so good for meal prep as well. If you want to heat it up later. I don't think I've had a bad one yet, to be honest. So, first question. Favourite book? You obviously all know that I love to read. I read last year, I think it's 108 books in total last year. I'm already on book 8 so far of this year. By the time I post this, that's probably going to be book 10, let's be honest. So, favourite book? That's a really bloody tough one because I have read so many. I think, I'm going to do a favourite non-fiction book, and then a favourite fiction book, which might be a series. I know that's more than one. It's really difficult to pick. Favourite non-fiction book is hands down Atomic Habits by James Clear. I genuinely think that every single person should read that book. It's just it just breaks it down and makes you think about all of the little things and how they all add up, and it is just so unbelievably true. So yeah, I recommend that for everybody. I have read it a couple of times and I will read it again. As for fiction, I'm going to go with the Will Trent series by Karin Slaughter. Yes, there are 12 books in this series, but honestly, I love her writing style. Everything's really, it's really well written. The characters are really good, and I wouldn't have thought that someone could get 12 books out of the same characters and make it interesting, but genuinely, absolutely loved it. I can't wait for her to bring out more. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Will Trent series by Karin Slaughter as my favourite book, I think. Right, question number 2. Cream eggs or mini eggs? I don't actually know that I can answer that question. If you'd have asked me this morning, I probably would have said mini eggs, then I had a cream egg, and now I kind of want to say cream egg. But I've also bought some mini eggs to have this evening, so can I have both, please? Easter chocolate is just, I think it's the best chocolate. I don't know why, there's something about it. It is just 10 times better than normal chocolate. If it's in the shape of an egg, it's better. Question number 3. How did I get into coaching? Long story. Started back in April 2020. So I had been slowly putting on weight for probably a couple of years, and I've been hiding it very well. By no means was I big, but I was the biggest that I had been. And I thought that I was doing a really good job of hiding it until sneaky bit of onion outer stuck into the pan. Yeah, I thought that I was doing a really good job of hiding it until I saw my dad one day, and he was like, "Oh, Lauren, you've put on some weight, haven't you?" So cue a bit of a meltdown till I fucking knuckled down. I lost 3 stone in the space of a year, and not to be really cheesy or anything, but it genuinely changed my life so much. everything about my life just got better. I was sleeping better, I had more energy, my mental health was so much better, everything was clearer, I was so much more positive, and I know that sounds really cheesy, but it genuinely was the case. During this time, I was furloughed, so I used to run pubs for a living, and during furlough, I used to run pubs for a living, and during furlough, I kind of just realised how much of life I was missing. I came to the realisation that I didn't want to be running pubs forever. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved running pubs for the first few years while I did it. But lockdown made me realise that there was so much more to life, and that genuinely I was missing out on so much. So I was thinking, like, what can I do? I applied to work for Aldi as an area manager. Got turned down, didn't make it through. I think, funnily enough, actually, I had to do a video interview where they sent me questions and I had to answer them on camera. So it was just like talking to the camera. And I fucking sucked at it. It was awful. I'm not surprised that they didn't hire me off the back of that, to be honest. Which is quite funny, given that now I talk to the camera every single day. That's actually quite easy. I haven't really thought about that. But yeah, so I didn't get that. So I was like, right, okay, back to the drawing board. And I thought, actually, do you know what? I could set up my own business. And I'm very, very lucky in that my parents have always been so supportive, and have always instilled it in me that I can do anything that I set my mind to, and literally whatever I want to do, I can make it happen. And I think that's a very powerful thing, and I think that everyone should believe that, because literally what is stopping you? If you want something, if you want to do it, you will do it. You will find a way. So I looked into it, and I was very lucky that I had some friends that were coaches that I could reach out to get their advice, and they were incredibly supportive. There's two in particular. So Kerry, coached by KCL, and Rachel from Henley Fitness, they both were absolutely wonderful. They were so encouraging. They helped me answer all of my questions that I had about becoming a PT and setting up my own business. They were beyond helpful. So I kind of worked out what I needed to do, and then I set up. I waited, funnily enough, until I had to go back to work at the pub to get my qualification. Don't know why I didn't do it while I was furloughed. That would have been a really sensible use of my time, but I did not. So I waited until I was back working 60 hours a week, did my PT qualification alongside that. So I was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, studying for an hour or two before going into the pub for 9, 10, working until 3, coming home, cooking dinner, doing an hour of study, then going back, working until midnight, getting up, doing it all over again. It was a hard time. It was a lot. But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it at all. Then I got qualified, and then I set up my business alongside running the pub. So January 2022, I was like, right, okay, this is the year that I'm going to do it. I've got to get out, got to just go for it. So I did. I put out my little ad on Facebook, and I took on my first clients for mobile PT, which I did in the park. I turned up, I had all my equipment in the boot of my car, had a little suitcase so I could wheel it along in the park, little old me just started, and then I built up my business. Slowly, by the end of February, I'd handed in my notice. I had a 3-month notice period. So yeah, by the end of February, I handed in my notice to leave at the end of May, and then I had no choice but to make it work. So that's what I did. Yeah, left at the end of May 2022, and I have not looked back since. So yeah, that's how I got into coaching. I am actually so incredibly grateful that I get to do what I get to do. Sometimes I can't quite believe that this is my life and I get to help people in the way that I do. The messages that I receive just absolutely make my day. But soppiness out the way, next question. Best holiday I've ever been on. Hands down, don't even have to think about that, Canada, 2019. I flew all the way there by myself, and that's the first time I'd ever been abroad by myself. Decided to make it probably, I think, one of the longest plane journeys I've ever been on, and fly across the world. But I went, and my friend Kate met me at the airport because she lives over there, and I went to stay with her, so I wasn't, as much as I went by myself, I wasn't there by myself. I feel like now I'd have the confidence to do that, but back then, no. It was incredible. Canada is such a lovely country. I will 100% be going back. The people there, so friendly. Just the views, everything, absolutely stunning. I'd go back tomorrow if I could, you know. It was, yeah, incredible. If anyone's looking for an out of this world holiday, go to Canada. Alexa, set a timer for 20 minutes. I don't know how we coped before Alexa. She does everything for me. Alright, let's turn that down. Will one glass of wine a night with dinner ruin my progress? In a word, no. It just depends on your overall, what you're doing. If that one glass of wine is tipping you over on your calories, then yes, but it's not necessarily the wine that's doing it. I don't think that you need to give up anything at all in order to lose weight. I think there's probably other things to think about. So that one glass of wine won't necessarily do anything. But I think you've got to think about the overall picture. So that one glass of wine, what does that lead to? Does that affect your sleep? Because I know that if I drink, it tends to affect my sleep. And even just one glass can do it for me. But obviously everyone is different, and I think that it can leave me feeling a bit foggy headed. And it can also definitely lead to me making poorer decisions when it comes to everything else. So that one glass of wine on its own won't be a problem. But also think about it over the course of the week, how, if you can go without it for some days, how many calories would you then save? Would you just generally feel better in yourself? I know for me, the more I drink, the worse my skin will get. And then I feel crappy about that. So it's just looking at the overall picture, really. There's no reason that you can't have these things. I lost 3 stone in the space of a year, and I ate chocolate every single day. Because that for me is just non-negotiable, because I enjoy it and that's just part of my life. And if wine is that thing for you, you might not like chocolate, you might not want to have chocolate, you might not have crisps. Everyone has their thing. So no, it's not necessarily going to ruin anything. You've just got to think about it in terms of the bigger picture and how that has an impact. This one really made me smile. Not a question, but your how-to vids for the gym have been a godsend for me. You guys have no idea how much messages like that actually mean to me. I put so much effort into my Instagram page. I really, really do. So to know that it is actually helping people, I just, like, you have no idea how much that will make my day. People will message and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry to message, but I just wanted to say. I'm like, no, never say sorry for messaging about anything. Like, I am a very, like, open and receptive person, and I will always be wanting to help. And I think because of, like, the time that I've spent, just turn that down. I think that because of the time that I've spent in pubs for so many years, I will just talk to anyone. I'm quite a sociable, chatty person. So yeah, I will always talk to anyone. And yeah, having those messages is lovely. Top tips for getting started. I'm clueless. I'm gonna hazard a guess that this is for weight loss. It doesn't actually specifically say, but given that that is what my page is geared to, I'm gonna hazard a guess that that's probably what that is. So, top tips for getting started. So when I think back to my own journey and the mistakes that I made, one is track your calories. I know that it seems like a bit of a ball ache, and maybe it is to start with, but it really is eye-opening. When I first started, I thought, back before I started, I'd started. And what I mean by that is I thought that I was eating healthy. I was having my overnight oats for breakfast, because, you know, that's a healthy breakfast. But I wasn't counting, I wasn't weighing or anything, I was just pouring them in. And when I started weighing and tracking, I realised that those overnight oats were racking up to almost 1,000 calories for breakfast. So it is no wonder that I was slowly putting on weight. So yeah, tracking calories, it gives you, you don't have to do it forever, but it gives you such a good understanding of what you're actually putting into your body, and what better way to know that you're eating in a deficit than to know exactly what you're eating. So yeah, that would be top tip number one. Top tip number two, walk more. It's free and anyone can do it, especially now that hopefully spring is on its way, the weather will be getting better, and it is literally the easiest thing that you can do to increase your energy expenditure, which is going to help you then be in more of a deficit, and you can do it, and it takes, it's got so many other benefits as well. Like, for your mental health, it's so good, especially if it's a sunny day. Get out, get some vitamin D, like, go for a walk and then tell me that you don't feel better about life, unless you go in the pissing rain, then you might not. Strength training is number three. Strength training over cardio any day for weight loss. Honestly, cardio is all well and good for burning the calories whilst you're, like, doing it, but that's not what it's about. It's not about burning as many calories as possible. Building some strength and having a bit of muscle will ultimately help you to burn more calories in the long run. I'm not going to go into a big thing about strength training and how it all works, but in the long run, it's going to help you to burn more calories the more muscle that you have. But also, cardio, you're going to end up being like skinny fat, as people call it. I don't really like that term, but you know what I mean when I say it. Whereas if you do weights and you build some muscle, you're going to get some definition, and I know that is what you want. You want to have a bit of shape. You want to have nice toned arms. You don't want to just be skinny fat. So yeah, cardio will do that for you. Weights will make you look good. Cardio might look good in clothes. Weights, you'll look good in and out of clothes. So yeah, that's my top three. That would be my top three things for getting started. Number four would be get a coach. Get someone who knows what they're doing. And this is not a shameless plug, but honestly, the help of someone that knows exactly what they're doing, so that you don't have to think about it, will make your life so much easier. And also, like, you going it alone, you're going to try and rely on motivation and willpower, and and you hit a stumbling block and you are just so much more likely to give up. Whereas you've got a coach, you've got me in your corner helping you out. I'm not going to let you give up. I'm going to give you all of the reasons that you should carry on, and help you to carry on. So yeah, tip number 4, hire me as your coach. Last question, have you got anything exciting planned this year? Any word? No, not really. I am actually saving up to buy a house at the moment, so my exciting plans for this year, which actually genuinely are really exciting for me, but to other people probably sound boring as hell. My focus is on growing my business, delivering the best possible service that I can, and helping as many of you as I can. That is my big exciting plan for this year, and I actually can't wait. And then hopefully off the back of that, I will be able to save up and buy my house. But my main focus is on just growing my business and delivering the best possible service that I can. I am constantly seeking to do things better, provide more value, and just be the best coach that I absolutely can be. And I'd like to think that my clients appreciate that. So yeah, that is my big exciting plan. I have already found my dream house. Likelihood of it still being there when I'm ready to buy, probably quite slim, which is sad, but what's meant to be will be. And I am such a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and that things will work out the way that they're meant to. So, you know, if this house is gone by the time I come to buy, then it just means that something better will be on the market for me. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I really do think that things happen for a reason. I know that sounds really cheesy, but when I look back at my life, actually, I think that I can look at certain things and be like, right, well, that didn't work out, but that was because this was happening and I didn't know it. Like, for example, when I was leaving the pub, I'd handed in my notice, I had 3 months to go, and I was shit scared. I was so scared. I had applied for 2 jobs within the pub company that I worked for that were both at head office. So I would be working 9 to 5, so I could start having that sort of normal life, of normal working hours, so I would have evenings and weekends, and I thought that would be easier for me to build up my business on the side. Got rejected for both of them, had interviews for both, and then got rejected, and I personally think that they just wanted me to stay in the pub, which didn't really work out for them because I just left the company altogether. I'm not gonna lie, I was an absolute kick-ass pub manager. Anyone that is local that knew me at the pub, I think you'll agree. I was fucking brilliant. And then I applied for a part-time receptionist job at a local physio company. Interviewed for that. Didn't get it. That would have been, like, in my eyes at the time, that would have been perfect because it was part-time hours. It would have given me just a little bit of income, just a little bit of security, I guess. To know that I had some money coming in, then plenty of time to build up my business on the side. But again, I didn't get it. I think, in all honesty, I was probably overqualified for it, and I think they knew that I wouldn't have stuck around forever. They wanted someone a bit more long term. But yeah, I didn't get it, and at the time I was like, oh, like I was gutted. But the reason I didn't get it was because I just needed to get on with growing my business. And yeah, after that I just decided I am just going to crack on and build my business, and that's what I did. And now I'm in a position where I've got to do the same thing. I have got to buy a house. So I've therefore got to build a business that is worthy of me buying said house. So yeah, that was I've gone off on a real tangent there, but that is my exciting plans this year. I'm sure I will do some other things as well. I am end of April going to Barcelona for High Rocks, and that's very exciting because Barcelona is somewhere that I have always wanted to visit and have never been. I doubt I'll actually end up seeing that much of it, because obviously I'll be there for Hyrox, so I'll just go for a weekend. Most likely. Hopefully I'll see more of Barcelona than I did of Amsterdam. Amsterdam, I literally saw like the metro system, my hotel and the Hyrox venue, which was a shame, but is what it was. I obviously, for those of you that have been following me for a while, you will know that I wasn't very well when I did that. Didn't realise that I had a chest infection, and yeah, wasn't good. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be other exciting things, but for me, the most exciting thing is that prospect of growing my business, and just putting everything into it. I feel like I am already thriving so far this year, and it excites me. It really, really does. I am almost ready to dish up my dinner, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, comment, all of those lovely things. Any support is very much appreciated, and I'll see you all in the next one.